What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down some very important resistance and support levels to watch for, and how the market is looking so far as we're starting to see the bulls step in again. But before I break anything down about all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. Now, this offer ends in just about 11 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market so far. So we got a very, very nice bounce on Tesla, on SPY, and for the market. So we're going to be watching some very important levels right now. Let's start off with Tesla. So what's interesting about Tesla is this. We basically have this head and shoulders like pattern that has developed, but instead of it just playing out leading to downside, this was like a trap that was set, and Tesla ended up getting a break to the upside. Now when Tesla broke to the upside, we also had this like inverse head and shoulders that we called out. We talked about both of these in my previous videos, that one of these could end up playing out. And I was expecting some kind of bounce after the very bearish day we saw yesterday, because SPY and the QQQ had these bullish divergences. So yesterday I told you Tesla should be seeing at least 250, maybe even 252. Instead, we went all the way up to about 257.5, which was the next level above 255. So now we're going to be watching these levels. So Tesla has support right now around this 256.5 area. There's a little bit of support there, but the strongest support's at 255, and then 250 below that, 252.5, and then 250, of course. And if we break below 250, then we have support all the way down to like 247.5. Now we have resistance currently at 257.5. If we break that, you're going to be watching 258. If we get above that, then 260 is likely going to come, followed by 262.75. Overall, the trend is looking more bullish, as Tesla has a very, very bullish looking setup right now, as we have this inverse head and shoulders pattern play out quite nicely, and Tesla just has to fight 257.5 to push higher. As of right now, Tesla is kind of getting stopped by this resistance, so we could see a bit of a fight here as time goes on, but there is going to be an attempt for it to break out, as it's looking very strong. Now, what looks strong about Tesla is the daily chart has a MACD potential crossover on the PPO that could be coming very soon. If it does happen, that's going to help Tesla start pushing even higher. As of right now, it's holding up quite nicely, so I want to break that down in more details maybe later on. Now, for now, it's holding above these levels, so we'll see which way it breaks, but it still has strength, which is a good sign for Tesla. On top of all of this, we have SPY right over here. SPY is looking quite decent because it has this channel where it's been like it's been stuck in this channel, but now we're starting to test this resistance that I was calling out yesterday. Yesterday, I was telling you guys that we should see a bounce. We're going to see SPY attempt to break this confluence of resistance. So what is this confluence? Basically, we had this uh, support all the way down from the October low, this green trend line, which was acting as a critical support for SPY. So this previous support was broken yesterday. Now it's going to be acting as resistance. Then we also have this channel. You guys see this channel right here? This is the channel off the right shoulder of the head and shoulders. So we have this head and shoulders on SPY, the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder. And then we have this white channel that developed. I just wanted to remind you guys about that. So there's this intersection between these trend lines, right? The trend line right here, and it's very close to where SPY is going right now. So we're getting very close to that. And if anything, we're going to be watching this test. How do we react to this resistance? It's going to be some tough resistance. So watch 424 on SPY. If we break above that, watch 424.5. We have some tough resistance right here between, and sometimes we could get like a wick above it. So like just like how we had wicks here, just a little above it before it came down. So I would say between 424.5 to 425, watch that resistance. It's going to be very, very tight. So watch that very carefully, see if we reject or not. If we get that rejection, we could see this thing start to slow down a little bit. But for now, just watch that as our resistance. If we start breaking down, watch 423.5. We have some support there. Then we have 422.5 below that. If we break below that, 422 is where we have the next major support. If that fails, if SPY breaks below 422, then there's going to be a big drop towards the very low 421s, and we could see a bigger drop below that. So right now, watch our critical support at 422. We want to hold above that for now, especially if you want to establish a higher low. And for resistance, watch this critical resistance around this 424 to 425 area, 424.5 specifically if we get above 424. For the QQQ, This is very similar to SPY getting the breakout. I called out 358 yesterday, and that's where we are right now. However, it looks like it's a little bit stronger than expected thanks to Tesla and these other tickers with a potential double bottom forming on the QQQ. So we're going to be watching. Could we hold above this 358 level? If we manage to hold it, I could see this thing getting very close to 360. And if we break above that, I mean, 361.69 is going to be the next level. If we break below 358, the next critical support is 357.5, followed by 356. I believe that as of right now, it's kind of like fighting in this 358 area. So we're going to be watching this very carefully, but there is still potential for upside as long as we hold above it, especially going into tomorrow. So we could see 360 plus in the future. There's still potential for that. For Nvda, my target on Nvda was 440. I was talking about us testing 440 to 442 and then maybe rejecting. That's kind of like what happened, but I'm not too sure about a big rejection. Nvda is not looking as strong as the market, but we have support right now that's about to be tested at 437.5. If we break below that, then we have this critical support right here where the white trend line happens to be very close to this 435 area. So it's very important that you watch this to see how Nvda holds up. Nvda, in my opinion, is still looking quite good as we have this strong uptrend that's been established and it's continuing to hold up decently. So even though it's a little weaker than the market today, it's just one day. We're going to be watching this support right here at this 437.5 area. And we may just see Nvda chop around a little bit and just trade sideways because it's not really moving that crazily today. Now, last but not least, for Aapl stock, this is looking quite decent because here's the reason why. Aapl, in my opinion, is trying to hold above this resistance. We were talking about possibly trying to break it. I wasn't too sure if it would break this strongly. We managed to do it, which is a good sign. We're holding above 173 right now. If it keeps holding this, we could be testing 173.86. If we break above this, okay, we have a nice double bottom setup and we have potential to see Aapl push for this gap fill all the way up to the 176 area. That's a possibility. If we could hold above 174 and we manage to just hold it very nicely, there's going to be an attempt maybe to hit this gap fill or maybe get to gap resistance at 175.5. A very, very nice move to the upside could come if we break and hold above 174-ish. So do I think Aapl could do it? It's a possibility, but we need to see Aapl break out first. As of right now, it's kind of like it's attempting to break out, but it's just barely holding 173. So we're going to be taking this one step at a time. Let's see if Aapl could close above 173 today or hold up. If it manages to achieve that, there is potential for upside. If it fails to do so, then we have this trend line way down here, which is going to be acting as our next support, which is where we had this falling wedge still developing. So it is possible for us to break back down and fail, but we're going to be watching 173 as a key level. If it breaks below 173, there could be potential for it to drop lower. If it manages to hold 173 throughout today, there is potential for it to push towards 173.86, which could turn bullish. All right, so it's very important to watch that level. Aapl has some potential, but I'm just going to be watching it just to be safe. Now, SPY is currently testing 424. We'll see if this breaks or not. Tesla is actually breaking out now. We broke 257.8, which is a good sign. It's getting very close to 258, then 260 could come next if it breaks out. Even NEO is up. The IWM is starting to bounce after being down for so long. We have a bullish looking daily candle, which could be looking for more upside later on. So I just wanted to add that for other tickers out there, even Nvidia is trying to push up towards 438. I just wanted to call out that the VIX is looking a little weaker. We were calling out a rejection on the VIX because we had a bearish divergence. That is what played out for today. Finally, we got this rejection, and we're going to be watching support right now at 18.69. If that fails us, 18.5 is a possibility, followed by this imbalance down here towards 18.14. VIX looks a little bit more bearish, which means the market could still push up more. The dollar also rejected as we expected, right? The dollar is coming down towards support right now. It broke below the 30 minutes 200 EMA, which means 106.5 is a possibility, which would be bullish for the markets. And right now, signals are pointing towards a bounce. So we're starting to get that bounce. SPY is trying to break out. So watch these resistance levels very carefully. Don't forget, SPY is getting very close to some critical resistance, close to 425. So watch that very carefully. And we will see how the market goes from here. With that said, guys, the market's attempting to bounce. So watch these levels very carefully. If SPY even breaks 425, that would be pretty big if it manages to do that. 426.8 is going to be a very important level, which is where we have the 200 EMA, by the way. But for now, it's holding up nicely. So Hopefully this video was helpful. I thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely spectacular day, and I'll see you guys very soon. Watch these levels and see you soon for the last video of the day coming out in just a couple of hours. Thank you and peace out.